All right, we're now with the farmers market, and if you could introduce yourself and your colleagues and make whatever budget presentation you'd like to make, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you for having us today. I'm Tasha Kennard. I am the Executive Director of the Nashville Farmers Market. And here to my left, I'd like to introduce Margot McCormack. She is our Board Chair at the Nashville Farmers Market. And I'd also like to recognize we have several folks here with us today. We've got Tyler and Kia, as well as the entire staff of the Nashville Farmers Market. And Dustin and Laurel are both here supporting us as well.
Our board too. That's okay too.
Yeah.
All right.
So I appreciate everyone attending today. It is an honor to sit before you and present the accomplishments of the Nashville Farmers Market over the past year, as well as share our plan and our budget with you. I want to applaud Margot and the entire board and staff, as well as General Services, for their efforts over the past 18 months. They have been diligent. They have been proactive, and they have been very methodical about their work in transforming the Nashville Farmers Market into a destination that will surprise, delight, and inspire the community. But there's still a lot of work to be done. Since joining the market this past January, I've had an opportunity to assess the facility and the organization, as well as the special review report and its findings. And I want to make knowledge of Nancy Whittemore, who I believe I saw a few moments ago. She may have stepped back out. As you know, General Services was overseeing the Nashville Farmers Market for about 18 months, and they did a lot of work. They took the special report and they assessed every single finding in that report regarding leadership and management, as well as operations, fiscal management, and the overall safety and security and cleanliness of the facility. And it's positioned us to transform the market into a destination for our city. But we do have to remind ourselves that it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. This transformation will not happen overnight, and it will require us to have a new focus on management as well as programming to bring the shared vision to life. We must focus on how we can increase revenue opportunities, but at the same time, have a more balanced budget by reducing our expenses. And that's exactly what we're doing. Since May of 2012, we have continued to receive administrative and building operations support, and we are in the process of transferring those responsibilities from General Services back to the management of the farmers market. In fact, we've just recently hired Tracy Ray as our business services manager to do so. The organization has met monthly with the board and consistently provided financial and program reports for review and consideration, as well as evaluation. And the board and the current management have improved equity and fairness in treatment of merchants through the development and implementation of new market rules, policies, and procedures, which we are continuing to put forth. Also, since January, we have worked alongside the board to create a vision and tactical plan to help define and shape the Nashville Farmers Market as a culinary destination for the city and surrounding areas. We have continued the practice of hosting consistent merchant meetings to promote open communication, and we've maintained a 90% lease rate for the interior market house, as well as a 32% occupancy rate for the overall market. And as you can tell, there's plenty of room to grow there. We fostered small business development and Grow Local Kitchen, as well as offered a variety of cooking and demonstration classes, including canning, butchering, fermenting foods, etc. And we've successfully hosted a night market series this past June through October that drew nearly 4,000 participants each event. We've managed the Vanderbilt Neighborhood Market Program, which we're now expanding to oversee the neighborhood market at Richland Park. And we have continued to implement increased security, janitorial, and facility services to clean up the facility. We've evaluated and improved life, health, and safety issues for the property, and we will continue to do so over the course of the next 18 months. We've achieved continued growth in social media, including over 25,000 Facebook friends and nearly 20,000 Twitter followers. And this year, for the very first time, we hosted what we called a farmhand dinner, which was able to not only raise awareness for the organization, but also facilitate an increase of $7,000 for operating support for the farmers market. We've also secured a $5,000 grant with the Department of Agriculture, and we are now seeking an additional grant to help offset expenses in next year's budget. And finally, we were voted the best farmers market in the Nashville Scenes Reader Poll and the best farmers market by Tennessee Magazine. Those are just a few of the accomplishments over the past year. We have an exciting lineup as we gear up for peak season. We have many local farmers returning, which tells me that we're doing a much better job of communicating and retaining our local farmers than we have in the past. We have a great lineup of culinary classes and educational opportunities and special events lined up for this season, which kicks off in mid-May. And again, we are expanding our neighborhood market program, which will help us in branding in local communities as well as extending our reach into those areas. Our goals over the course of the next year include continual development and implementation of management processes, improving merchant relations, recruitment and retention, improving branding, increasing foot traffic and the consumer experience through programming and advertising and special events, and again, looking at cost-saving measures. As with any organization undergoing change, again, we need to be reminded that we might not have all the resources we need readily available to make these changes happen. But we have taken what you've asked us to do very seriously, and we have presented a 3% reduction budget. That 3% budget would negatively impact our ability to maintain adequate security services for the organization, but we will make do if that is what we were asked to do. We've also included various improvements in our budget that would help us continue with revenue development as well as operational improvements to enable the market to eventually become self-sufficient. Additionally, we've submitted $80,000 in capital request that will help offset that security decrease with an improved security and safety program. We have facility signage and, again, a budget for unforeseen infrastructure expenses. In addition, General Services will be submitting capital requests again this year to facilitate the enclosure of our exterior sheds, which will create conditioned retail space, enabling us to drive additional revenue and programming capabilities while also improving our overall experience for our merchants and our customers. The improvements and the capital request are critical investments that will help us transform this market. And without those improvements and continual investments, we will continue to wrestle with the seasonality shifts in occupancy, and the projection for self-sufficiency could be delayed. And I'm sure you may have a few questions for us today, or Margot may want to add comment. So I'll open the...
I am super excited about Tasha Kennard as the executive director, and as with last year, you guys giving us the green light go-ahead to get started with a 3-year self-sustaining plan. This is the huge piece of that puzzle being installed, and I think just in the 3 months that she's been doing this job, it's amazing. You can tell the motivation, the energy down at the farmers market is terrific. We had another board meeting, a specially called board meeting, to basically plan out the entire calendar of events that we intend to sponsor at the market, kicking off May 15th with our Grow Together night market. Big weekend of fun, and continuing with the night markets, we've got another farmhand dinner we're going to plan for the fall. We've already had Benton Hall Academy fundraiser dinner. We're going to have the Nourish dinner. We're going to do the generous helpings again. We've gotten, I don't know how many calls from weddings and special events to have their occasion hosted at the farmers market as a new venue. in addition to just so many new farmers and new crafters wanting to come in. And I think with the ballpark going up right next door and all the other building around the neighborhood, we are going to see ourselves as a new hub of activity. And we are trying to gear up for that. It's exciting.
Good. Well, thank you. I think that should be an exciting future with the ballpark and the other growth that's occurring in that area. Well, this is your first budget hearing, so welcome. I hope you enjoy it.
Having the time of my life.
You mentioned additions or budgetary requests. What do they contain?
Well, obviously our budget is not adequate for funding our operation. And so our additional requests, we're not asking for additional personnel. The personnel we have behind us, as well as 2 vacancies, we will be able to manage the market perfectly there. We are, however, asking for improvements to help fund some programmatic needs, as well as our utilities and ongoing maintenance, janitorial, and security services. Very similar to the supplemental requests that we're having to make this year. Those areas are drastically underfunded. It is a very large facility, and it requires a lot of activity, specifically around janitorial and security services, that we do not currently have the revenue to cover those expenses. We are working towards that, but again, this year we will have to seek improvements in those areas in order to operate efficiently and effectively.
Okay. Is that the bulk of your request?
Yes, it's, give you the exact number. It is $482,000 of that request. Again, we also have our last lease payment to the state, which should be in the amount of $259,600 during FY15. And then I believe we roll into the $10 a year agreement.
It's a better deal.
Much better deal.
Good. Well, that's good news. That's a savings right out there. You talked about the relationship you have with Vanderbilt and Richland, I guess. Do you see that going into other areas, other neighborhoods?
We hope so. I believe that the Neighborhood Market Program is an opportunity for the Nashville Farmers Market to be able to connect with people in the community, where they live, where they work, where they like to play. That's a great place for any organization to want to be and to help celebrate community. We've seen the Neighborhood Market Program grow throughout Davidson County. We have not been absent in that growth, but we have not been strategic with it. So our goal is to be able to pick up Richland Park, refine both Vanderbilt and Richland Park as producer-only markets, showcase to the community that we can manage them effectively, and then work with the other neighborhood markets on providing management services, which would again result in increased revenue for the market.
So you charge a management fee for your services, is that?
We would actually just take over the operation for them. Most of them are farmer-run right now, and so they're having to manage the payments of the vendors to participate. So very similar to what we're doing with Richland, we would just adopt that program, oversee it with our staff, and then manage the finances, logistics, and marketing of them.
Okay. What, say 5 years from now, what would success look like?
In 5 years, we hope that our sheds will be enclosed, and that way we're not basing our revenue business on seasonality. We hope that we are considered one of the top, if not the #1 destination for events. We know that the ballpark is going to bring an exceptional amount of foot traffic and revenue opportunities, as well as community engagement opportunities to the Nashville Farmers Market, and we hope to be playing a very big part in the community going forward. I think this community that we're in is going to be drastically different in 18 months. And so for us, we're really focused on how do we celebrate that community in 18 months, and then how do we continuously get better year after year after year. We will be self-sufficient in 5 years. We will be self-sufficient. My goal is in 2 years.
Okay, very good. Greg?
Nothing. Mr. Reevely?
Just writing down that last comment.
2 years. 2 years.
Would you sign it, please?
Did you sign
Want me
this?
to?
Any questions?
No, no, thank you.
Well, thank you. I mean, clearly the ballpark and the amount of housing that's going in that area, I think the HCA development over on Charlotte's going to have a positive impact too. So, you've had a busy year. And Marco, thank you for all your hard work. It's been in the whole board and everybody who works at Farmers Market. It's been a busy year with hiring folks and working through a variety of financial issues. But I applaud your efforts and look forward to continued progress. And I should also recognize Council Lady Gilmore, who's joined us. So thank you all.
Thank you.